Yes, dear learners, today we'll read about Lesson 2, Sound of Music of 9th class, book Beehive. It's part 2, the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Here you can see the visual of so many famous, renowned instrument players like Amjad Ali Khan, sarod player, Hari Prasad Chaurasia, flute player, Pandit Ravi Shankar, sitar maestro, and Ustad Sultan Khan, sarangi player, and Zakir Hussain, and Bismillah Khan, Shehnai maestro. So in this lesson we are going to read about Ustad Bismillah Khan, how he took Shehnai to such greatest heights. Think of the Shehnai and the first thing you will probably means almost certainly imagine is a wedding or a similar occasion or function. The next would probably be Ustad Bismillah Khan, the Shehnai maestro playing this instrument. Yes, dear learners, this part of the lesson throws light on the origin of the Shehnai and the contribution of Ustad Bismillah Khan to bring this musical instrument onto the classical stage. Being a legend because he did something which has historical significance. He played the Shehnai on the day India got independence, that is 15th August 1947 at the Red Fort. Bismillah Khan, who earned his reputation as one of the greatest Shehnai players. And the lesson then deals with the life of Bismillah Khan, his love for his motherland and his devotion to art. His life and work are inspirational and exemplary for all Indians. Despite being born into a Muslim family, he and his family remained devout worshippers of the Vishnu temple of Banaras. In 2001, he received the highest civilian award of India, the Bharat Ratna, after having all Padma awards like Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan and the Padma Vibhushan. So now today we'll read this lesson stanza wise. I will explain you all the stanzas. So all of you please listen carefully. Yes, Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Emperor Aurangzeb was a 6th Mughal emperor who ruled over almost the entire Indian subcontinent. He officially banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi and in the royal residence. For what reason? Because it produced a very shrill, unpleasant sound, blaring sound. He didn't like the sound produced by pungi, so he banned it. Pungi became the generic name. Generic means very common name, a name given to a class or a group as a whole for all the reeded instruments. And the reeded instruments were famous as noise makers. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. Means very few people had thought that it would be regenerate, it would be reproduced. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace, means a barber. He belonged to a family of professional musicians. He had access. Access means he had got the right to enter or to permission to the royal palace. Decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. He tried to improvise. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem which was empty inside. Hollow means empty, and that was longer and broader. Broader means wider and longer than the pungi, and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. What he did? He made 7 holes. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. So when he tried on to this instrument which was designed by him by making 7 holes on that, very soft and melodious, very beautiful, melodious means beautiful and tuneful sound came out. He played the instrument before royalty. He played it before the royal people of royal blood or status, and means in the court he played it and everyone was quite impressed. Means everybody liked the sound produced by that instrument. The instrument, so different from the pungi, it was very much different from pungi, had to be given a new name. Now it had to be given a new name as the story goes, and very interesting story is there which goes with the naming of this instrument, since it was first played in the Shah's chamber. Shah's chamber means Shah's court, and was played by a nai, and it was played by a nai, barber. So that's why this instrument was named the Shehnai. So now all of you got that how this instrument got its name Shehnai. This is a visual of Pungi, and when it was improvised, designed in a new form, it became a Shehnai. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered very auspicious. So it was considered very auspicious. Auspicious means which brings good fortune. And for this reason, it is still played in temples. As its sound was considered auspicious, it is still played in temples and is an indispensable. Indispensable means absolutely necessary part of any North Indian wedding. So since it was very auspicious, the sound produced was very auspicious, so it was a compulsory part of the North Indian wedding. In the past, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts. Ensemble means a group of musicians who regularly perform together. Or ensembles here means things or instruments considered as a group. So it was a part of Naubat that found at royal courts. Till recently it was used only in temples and weddings. It was played only in temples and weddings. And the credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. So the credit means bringing this instrument onto the stage, making it an independent instrument, goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Damrao in Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Biharji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita. So during his childhood, Bismillah Khan, when he was just 5 years old, he was playing Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Damrao in Bihar. He was in the habit of going or visiting the local Biharji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita. After he finished singing, he would be given a very big laddu weighing more than 1 kg. This was a customary prize given by the Maharaja when he was happy with someone's performance. So when it happened, this happened 80 years ago. 80 years back, and the little boy has traveled far, and this little boy here referred to Bismillah Khan, now a grown-up man, repeated his performances and traveled many miles to earn the highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna, an award given only to very accomplished artists by the President of India. It is awarded in recognition of exceptional service performance of the highest order to somebody. Next stanza. Born on 21st March 1916. He was born on March 21. Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. His grandfather, Rasul Baks Khan, was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's court. His father, Pegambar Baks, the other paternal ancestors means ancestors of the father, were also great Shehnai players. The young boy took to music early in life. From very early age of his life, he started practicing music at the age of 3. When his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras, Bismillah was fascinated. He get attracted watching his uncles practice the Shehnai, how he practiced Shehnai. Soon Bismillah started giving company to his uncle Ali Baks to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Ali Baks, his uncle, was employed. He was a paid employee to play the Shehnai. So he used to go regularly over there to play the Shehnai. Ali Baks would play the Shehnai and Bismillah would sit captivated. Captivated means when your attention get hold with something for hours on end. Slowly he started getting lessons in playing the instrument. So when he just listened to that and sit captivated for hours, he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maya and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts. Haunts means favorite places. Apprentice means a person who works for someone in order to learn their skill. So he was there to learn skills from his uncle, to learn music from his uncle. So these places, Balaji, temples of Balaji and Mangala Maya and the banks of the river Ganga became the favorite places where he could practice in solitude. Means he practiced in a lonely manner. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him. The water of the Gangas became a source of inspiration him to improvise. Improvise means to create and perform without any preparations and invent new ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai, which was thought that it could never be produced with this instrument called Shehnai. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. Conference means a formal meeting of people with a shared interest. At the end of his recital, at the end of his performance, Ustad Faiz Khan patted, he just admired the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." Means if you work hard, you would be able to do it. With the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. Means that was a wonderful opportunity when All India Radio station was set up in Lucknow in 1938 that gave Bismillah's a big break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. Means his melodious sound, his melodies means captivated the audience and he became an often heard, regular heard Shehnai player on radio. 7th stanza. When India gained independence on 15th August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian. So it was a rare honor that he became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. He poured his heart, he just showed his happiness of his heart out into Rag Kafi from the Red Fort. So he played the Rag Kafi from the Red Fort on the day India gained independence. To an audience which included, means audience also was rare, which included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Starts with Destiny speech. Firstly, he got a big break when All India Radio was set up. Second, he got an opportunity to play Shehnai on 15th August when India gained independence before Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru gave his speech. Next stanza. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both India and abroad. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so taken, was so attracted, was so charmed by the maestro. Maestro here used for Bismillah Khan, that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. Souvenirs means things given in memory of a place, person or event. The king of Afghanistan was not the only one. He was not only the person who get attracted or fascinated with Bismillah's music. There were so many persons. One of them, film director Vijay Bhatt, was so impressed after hearing Bismillah play at a festival that he named a film after the instrument called Goonj Uthi Shehnai. That was also a moment of pride that a film director had given a name to his film on the instrument played by Bismillah Khan, and the name of the film was Goonj Uthi Shehnai. And the film was a hit, and one of the Bismillah Khan's favorite compositions, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, turned out to be a nationwide chart buster, and this composition had broken all the records, record breaker. Despite this huge success in the celluloid word means old-fashioned way of referring to the film world. Bismillah Khan's ventures. Ventures means that project that often involve risk. Ventures in film music were limited to means he had not shown much interest in the film world. Vijay Bhatt's Goonj Uthi Shehnai and Vikram Srinivas Kannada venture Sanadhi Apna. I just can't come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film world. So he termed this word as artificial, and he could not come to the terms of this film world. He says with emphasis. Awards and recognition came thick and fast. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Central Hall in the United States of America. This is a rare honor that he became the first Indian. For what? To be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. He also took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival, and in Osaka Trade Fair. So well known did he become internationally. He became an international personality, worldwide famous, that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him, Tahar Musiq Ustad Bismillah Khan. National awards like the Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan and the Padma Vibhushan were conferred on him. Conferred means given. An award or degree was given to him. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna, with the coveted award that is much desired resting on his chest and his eyes glittering with, shining with rare happiness. He said, all I would like to say. So this is a message he gave to all the Indians: teach your children music. This shows his patriotic feeling that how much he loves India. This is the Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music. So this was a message conveyed by Ustad Bismillah Khan to teach music to our children. In spite of having traveled all over the world, Khan Sahab, he was fondly called Khan Sahab, is exceedingly fond of Banaras and Damrao. He loved Banaras and Damrao, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world. A student of his once wanted him to head a Shehnai school in the USA. A student of his means he offered Ustad Bismillah Khan to go to USA to head a Shehnai school there, and the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Banaras. And that student promised that he would exactly create the same or make an exact copy or do something exactly in the same way, replicating the temples over there also, that he would recreate the atmosphere of India over there, so that he could head the school in the USA. But Khan Sahab asked him if he would be able to transport river Ganga as well, means he could take river Ganga over there also. Later he is remembered to have said, that is why whenever I am in a foreign country, I keep yearning, means to have a strong desire for something to Hindustan. What he said, that whenever he was in a foreign country, he keep yearning to come to Hindustan. While in Mumbai, I think of only Banaras and the holy Ganga. Means this was his love for holy river Ganga and Banaras. And while in Banaras, I miss the unique matha of Damrao, buttermilk, you can say. Yes. With an interview with Reader's Digest, when partition happened, didn't you and your family think of moving to Pakistan? Bismillah Khan's response to that: God forbid me. Leave Banaras, never I went to Pakistan. Once I crossed the border just to say I have been to Pakistan. I was there for about an hour. I said namaskar to the Pakistanis and salam alaikum to the Indians. I had a good laugh. This was his love for India. He didn't want to leave India. Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of the rich, cultural heritage of India, one that effortlessly accepts that a devote means believing strongly in a religion and obeying its laws and following its practice. Devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. So it's the patriotic feeling, and a devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. So, while summing up, we can say that Ustad Bismillah Khan's life was an example of the rich cultural heritage of India. He was a unique example of the integrity of cultures because, being a Muslim, he played the Shehnai every morning at Kashi Vishwanath temple. Ustad Bismillah Khan passed away on 21st August 2006 at the age of 90 after a prolonged illness. He was given a state funeral and the government of India declared one day of national mourning. So this life sketch of Bismillah Khan teaches an important lesson that India's music is very rich. Great musicians like Bismillah Khan not only adopted and inherited traditional music but also enhanced it with their original contributions. The feature conveys the message in Bismillah Khan's own words: teach your children music. Another message that the feature gives us that one must love one's country and rise above communal feelings. Thank you.